Alien versus Predator is the theme of the year for 2026. This is just absolutely crazy. I saw this and I was like, what the heck is going on, bro? Because a lot of people were saying this should be the biggest story in the world. So I thought, of course, I want to talk about it, especially about the way that it affects Christianity, right? So this is a Christian channel. We try to cover anything that's going on in the news concerning Christianity, some of the biggest things that happen. If you are interested in learning about those types of things or knowing about that stuff, subscribe to the channel, and I would love to keep doing this for you as much as I can. So let's go into this one today. Congressman Tim Burchett, he has spoken out about aliens interacting with human beings, and now we know they are intelligent aliens because he mentioned something about it in the clip. I'm gonna play it for you right now. This is TMZ clips on YouTube, and here it is.
What did you see now? I guess it would be about 2 weeks ago. That was very alarming, the way you said that, at least.
Here we go.
Yeah, well, because of the circumstances and where it was, I can't get into too much specifics, but it was elaborating on some stuff that we'd asked for, and it was important to get this person in a secure setting to where we could ask him these questions. And there was somebody in the meeting with us, one of my colleagues, I guess you'd say, was basically there just to kind of upset the apple cart and to throw, a monkey wrench into the deal. And every time a question was asked by this particular party, it was really the answers were out there, and they gave them, and they gave specifics, they gave addresses, they gave times and dates, and people that were in the meeting. And this went all the way up to the executive branch of previous presidents, not this current president.
So there have been different reports over the years. Some reports that there have been pieces of machinery that were found that did not seem earthly. And then there have been reports about life that is not earthly. Which one of those two, or both, are you talking about?
So before we go on to that, if they found machinery, of course, that immediately implies that these are intelligent beings, right? Because no creatures make machinery. Like, you've got to have some level of intelligence to create machinery, especially machinery that can travel from whatever planet you're on to this planet. So they would have to be super intelligent, if that's what we are saying right now.
A form of life that is not earthly, or just something mechanical that's not earthly?
I'd say you'd be safe to say both.
The way you described this, whatever happened at this meeting, this briefing that was happening,
what's happening?
Was there something that, if we knew, we would feel that we are in danger? You said you wouldn't sleep at night if you knew the things that I saw in these briefings.
Yeah,
should we believe that? That's the part where it seemed alarming.
I don't think we're at danger of this. I mean, if these things exist as I think they do, they could have destroyed us with a blink of an eye.
Yeah,
I just don't see that.
Facts.
And I think that's. I just think, but I do think they have the technology and the capabilities of something that we can't understand or we can't grasp.
What I want to make sure I'm understanding is a member of our government has told you and others, I guess, that there is a form of alien life and machinery which maybe brought this living creature here. That
he's struggling with it, bro. And I'm struggling with it too. What's going on?
That interacted in some form with people?
Yeah, they have, and they've.
No ways.
It's pretty wild. I know. But I'm just telling you, I'm not going to lie to you. I'd take a lie to you. You want to put me on a polygraph, I'll take it. But this is.
I mean, I don't think a polygraph is gonna do it, right? That's not like that's not like the best test. But I want to see your computer. Show me the files. Release the files.
What the guy told me. I mean, I've had a very high-ranking naval official describe. I've talked about this before. Underwater craft, something big as a football field, moving at over 200 miles an hour. And there's no fish in the ocean that would do that. We don't even have a sub that'll probably do 40 miles an hour under the. And the last thing he said before he left my office was, It was kind of weird because he went out the side door, which nobody ever uses. And he looked at me, pulled me up close. He said, "Tim, they're real." And that's the last thing he said to me. That'll be the title of my book, I guess. Matt Gaetz was involved in something here just recently. He was interviewed, and he talked about this interbreeding thing with.
That's wild.
No, we saw that. We saw that.
Yeah. Well, that's a true story. That was a military military personnel. I think that would be a good story to talk to him about if you all can do that.
Right. He says he learned that from someone in the military.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a guy. It was an officer.
So you know what I wonder, right? I wonder if there's a group of people in the military who are just like, you know what would be an insane prank? Let's just go up to a bunch of congressmen and tell them that we know of like insane alien investigations that's going on. And you know what you should do? Then instead of walking out the front door like everybody else, just walk out the side door and turn and say, they're real. You know? Like, I genuinely wonder. And if they said like the most serious guy to just go and prank them out, I wouldn't be surprised. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised.
Are in uniform.
Yeah.
And Matt and I and Representative Luna, we all went down to Florida, and we were turned away.
Of course.
And then Matt made a phone call to somebody at the Pentagon, and all of a sudden they opened the doors and brought the pilots in that were supposed to tell us the story in the first place.
Ooh.
And he can probably elaborate a little bit more on that. But that was pretty fantastic. That was a made-for-TV special right there in itself.
Absolute cinema. Yeah, this is crazy, guy. This is like unbelievable to me. But so the ultimate question, I think, is what does this do as a challenge for like Christianity, right? If you are a believer, how do you feel about this alien situation? Like, does it challenge your faith? I think for a lot of people, it would challenge their faith, if I'm going to be honest with you. Because think about this. These are intelligent beings. You can't go to them and tell them the gospel. You can't say to them that they're made in the Lord's image, because the scriptures don't say anything about God making aliens in the Lord's image. So it's kind of crazy, like how you would go about communicating this situation. And if you were to talk to these aliens, how would you communicate the gospel to them? Like, is the Bible even relevant to them? That's mad. So the thing that really hit me is that human beings have this problem, right? And the problem is that we have a sin issue. That's a major issue. We've got Adam who sinned, and that sin kind of worked its way through the rest of humanity. We all now have this sin nature. This sin nature needs to be dealt with fundamentally. So we need the Holy Spirit to be inside of us to deal with this sin nature. We need to be regenerated. That's something that needs to happen. Christ came in the form of a human being to take upon himself the sin of the world, and then he died on our behalf, taking that penalty upon himself, and then redeemed us. Like those who believe, you are redeemed. And you are forgiven for that sin. And that sin issue is cleared by the regeneration that I was talking about. So we had this covenant with God. And that was the covenant. That was the first covenant that came. And Christ came. And Christ redeemed us. And now we are in the new covenant. So here's the question, right? What covenant are aliens with God? That's like a major question. Because you can't teach the gospel to them if they are not in any covenant with God concerning sin and righteousness. But here's the thing that would have to just be a fact. If it's true that aliens exist, then we know that Jesus has created them. We know that they've been created by God through Christ, and that they exist in this world for a purpose. I don't know what that purpose is. That purpose could be to drive us forward technologically. That could be what it is. Their purpose could have been to build the pyramids, or some of those things. I don't know. I know that some people believe that, but who knows, right? Technological advancement could be something that God brought aliens into the world for. I don't know. But what's the difference between an alien and any other creation that God has made? I don't think that there's much difference. I genuinely don't think, except for their intelligence. But we don't look at animals that are like pets, like dogs and cats, and say that, well, because they are way less intelligent than monkeys and dolphins, that therefore these things are, they need different, gospels preached to them. The gospel is about us, and it's for us, and it's God's story of redemption for mankind. it's not for aliens, it's not for any other creatures, but that doesn't mean that preaching the gospel to these creatures is not going to be beneficial for them. They need to understand the true God that exists, and perhaps they have a different purpose in life. Perhaps they will exist like angels or go to heaven, just like angels. They'll be able to do that, and will be able to worship God. Will be able to benefit others in that way. It's possible, but I don't think that they would have the same situation as us. Now, it doesn't challenge me at all when I think about this whole situation. It really doesn't challenge me at all. It just means that there are other creations out there that God has made that we are unaware of. And we are constantly discovering different species on this planet alone. So I think that it's possible that aliens might exist. And if it is proven to be true that aliens exist, right? I mean, if I believe this guy's claims that aliens exist, that doesn't mean anything for Christianity. It just means that there's another creature that we've discovered that's just a fascinating creature that God has made. I mean, God has made so many things. If you read Ezekiel and you read about the visions that he had of God's creations, like of these things, I mean, that could be symbolic, but that could be God's creations, right? If you've seen those biblically accurate angel images, that's what I'm talking about. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. But I mean, yeah, like let's not limit the creativity of God, right? When we talk about aliens, God has created them, and it's fascinating and it's interesting, but it doesn't challenge my faith in any way. They are just other creatures if they do exist. And I think that if you are a Christian and you want to engage in some of this investigative stuff and want to look into these kinds of things, I think that that's a good idea. I think you should do that for sure. Go ahead. I mean, don't let anybody challenge you. Don't let anybody say that, this is like ridiculous or whatever. Yeah, so I mean, if you're interested in this type of stuff, or if you are interested in what's going on there, please let me know what you think in the comments. How would you interact with an alien if you ever managed to meet an alien? Have you met an alien? What did they say to you? What did you tell them? What did they do? Let me know. I'm really interested, and thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe.